A court rivalry, a rival court, is a term that pretty much describes the Cambridges and the Sussexes, although they say you should not compete where you don't compare. And there's nowhere in the world that you can compare the Sussexes and the Cambridges. They're on two different paths, although I think that the idea that a member of the royal family who is, some people assume, next in line to the throne, and I'll explain that in a minute, but this is just so, I can't wait for season 5 or 6 or 7 of The Crown when they cover all of this stuff, because this is getting weird. This is getting very intense. The reason why I say that is because I look at the Cambridges. They're running around Scotland, as I said in another video, terrorizing the countryside with this Stepford wife type of campaign that they're on. Okay, do what you will. Just leave the Duke and Duchess of Sussex out of it. But they're trying to save the Union, because Scotland is getting closer and closer to saying, you know what, we've had enough of you English. And so they said that they met with Gordon Brown. They had secret talks with Gordon Brown because Brown has recently launched a renewed campaign to save the Union, was seen as attending the Palace of Holyrood. However, the broadcaster was asked not to show the image of the former prime minister on the grounds of the palace. William and Kate sat down for talks with Brown and his wife at the Queen's official Edinburgh residence during the final days of their royal tour of Scotland. Okay, so why is this important? I believe that the game that they're playing, the Cambridges, is not only to try to outshine and outdo the Sussexes, but it seems as though William is trying to discourage his father from taking the throne. Now, we all say, oh, but, you know, when the Queen dies, instantly Charles becomes king at the minute she takes her last breath. And yeah, that may be true. But don't forget, in the last century, we've had some things that hadn't happened for a long time. As a matter of fact, I don't think there was ever an abdication before, but it happened. And then look at the string of divorces that happened with the Queen's children. You know, that wasn't supposed to happen either, but yet it did. And then on top of that, because of Charles's infatuation with Camilla, he married his mistress. The future head of the church married his mistress. And that wasn't supposed to happen either, but it did. So why am I saying this? I think William is somehow trying to show himself to be a greater statesman, and that way he can show up his brother, the Duke of Sussex, and that way he can possibly shame or embarrass or just try to outdo his father to the point where when the time comes, his father will abdicate. His father will step down. His father will refuse to take the throne. It's just a theory. It's just a theory. I'm not saying that's actually going to happen. People already want it to happen. Why? I don't know, because you'll eliminate one dull couple with someone that's equally as dull as far as I'm concerned. But it's the rivalry of the two courts. And there are two courts. You know, even though we say we don't care about it or this is not important, the problem is you got the entire infrastructure of the tabloid press trying to undermine the Sussexes. And I say that is a threat. We can dismiss it and we can try to downplay it, but they're type of journalism has already been a part of our culture for a long time. Just ask Oprah Winfrey. All of the things that are happening right now to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, that is the same way they went after Oprah. They paid people off. They staked out properties. I mean, the extent of the coverage of Oprah Winfrey was so great that Oprah decided to do something that I thought, and I'm sure I spoke about this before. Oprah sold so many magazines. Even people who hated her bought the magazines. People who loved her bought the magazines. And, I would look at the Star and the Inquirer because I just wanted to see how Oprah was living. I didn't care about all that negative, nasty stuff that they were saying. I just wanted to see Oprah's, I was just rooting for her success. I wasn't looking at this stuff to find out whether or not she did this or did that. I didn't care about that stuff. That's what was important to me. And the thing is, she sold a lot of magazines because of her popularity, good or bad. She sold magazines. So Oprah started her own magazine, O Magazine. And she put herself on the cover. I think she's only shared the cover once, and I think she gave it to Breonna Taylor as a memorial another time. But other than that, it's all Oprah all the time. And because of that, she managed to become a very successful magazine publisher at a time when so many other magazines were folding. Oprah was thriving with O Magazine. You see what I'm saying? That's because of the weight of her celebrity. So there's this weight of the celebrity of the Sussexes. And it is a form of celebrity. Even the royal family have their form of celebrity. So if you wince from hearing that term, too bad. But it is what it is. And so William is trying to use the weight of his celebrity to, I guess, try to play a stronger hand against the Sussexes because he's bothered by them. He's alarmed by them. He feels as though, I'm just putting words into his mouth, he feels as though he should be the brand ambassador for that family. He should be the one that is recognized around the world as the most popular. And it bothers him that Harry, who doesn't care about that stuff anymore, I cannot stress to you how little Harry is bothered by what's going on with that family. But it's important to William. It's important to their press because people are making money from this rivalry. And this rival court is an unfortunate thing because I'm pretty sure the Sussexes are just trying to exist away from that. But they're following them over here. And I think that if ever the day comes when Cain and Unable wash up on the shores of the United States to visit, it would be interesting to see exactly how they are received, especially in this White House. But at some point, they will meet again, not in the United Kingdom, but over here. And it's going to be an interesting meeting. I'm not expecting any fireworks. They're going to be on their best behavior, I'm sure. But I think that the Cambridges are kind of falling all over themselves for two reasons. Number one is to boast of their own image and to show that they're more popular. And number two is to somehow, I think they really do want Prince Charles to just go away. Charles is not popular. Charles is damaged goods. And his wife, his former mistress, trying to blame the Panorama interview, trying to throw Martin Bashir under the bus, eventually is only going to bring the substance of Princess Diana's words back into sharp focus. And again, what is William's game here? William is telling us, telling the world, He never wants that video seen again. It should go into the archives. By telling people that you don't want them to do something, you know that logically that means people are going to seek it out wherever they can find it. And it will be seen again. It will be aired again. And it's going to be like the topic of the next season of The Crown. So by him saying don't do it, he knows that logically people are going to see it. I think this is just his way of pushing his father aside. Do you get what I'm saying? I think this is his way of pushing his father aside so that when the time comes that his father say, I don't really want to be king so bad anyway, in that very erudite, condescending tone of his. I think William just doesn't want to wait. He doesn't want to be a 70-year-old Prince of Wales. And the only way to make sure that that doesn't happen is to push his father aside. And that way, he will be the CEO of the firm, and he could outshine his brother with this huge coronation and such. He doesn't want to wait that long. I'm just using some basic logic. If it were me, Prince Charles never conceived of the idea that he would be a 72? A 72-year-old Prince of Wales? He could not have conceived of that. Who knew his... And this is... I don't know if you all thought about this, but there's a woman named Grace Jones. There was a woman named Grace Jones. Did she live to be 112? Is that how old she was when she died? 112. What makes you think that if this peasant who enjoyed drinking whiskey or brandy or whatever it was every day, what makes you think if she still had a sharp mind and wit at 112, that Her Majesty the Queen Elizabeth II would not live as long? And if she lives to be 112, she's not going anywhere. Charles may be doing all the work, but it's still her reign. And it's not yours until it's in your name. So Charles is still, even though he's doing a lot of the heavy lifting for his mom, he's still not the king yet. He still haven't had his coronation yet. He hasn't had his moment of glory. And I think William is not likely to wait another 30 years to take the throne. At least he doesn't want to. And so for that reason, he is making himself the ultimate statesman so that he can crush this rivalry with his brother and that he can become king while he still has some hair left. So oh God, that's bad. But I hope you see the point that I'm making. This rivalry with the Sussexes is putting William into hyperdrive. And all this worrying is only going to make more of his hair fall out. I mean, he's making himself look like Mr. Burns. He's aging before our eyes and having secret talks. So he and the Duchess of Cambridge, they had secret talks with Gordon Brown and his wife. Well, the idea of them having secret talks, if you ask me, that's the only way Kate should ever talk to anybody is in secret, because I've seen her speak before, and it's not pretty. It's kind of hard to watch, especially if it's a public address. So I think it's a good idea to keep these talks secret for her. Anyway, not to disparage the Cambridges. Yes, I am disparaging them. Let me know what you think about that, because I think William is pulling a move here. And I think that he wants to show up in the U.S. as the King of England, as the sovereign, to try to show up the Sussexes. Because let me tell you something. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex, they are a powerful force in this world. And if you don't think I'm right about saying that, just look, every time something happens, it's been all Sussex all the time. And the only reason why we hear from the Cambridges as much is because we are, we're part of the Sussex squad, and we're kind of like keeping a skeptical eye out for the things that are going on with these Cambridge people. But the greater public is not paying as close attention to anything to do with the Cambridge here in the U.S. They probably don't even know William is the future Prince of Wales. I don't think anybody has any concept of that, because we're only looking at the Sussexes. That they're ours. They're part of our tribe now, and that bothers William, because the biggest muscle, the biggest trading partner that the UK has in terms of like prestige on the world stage, we've been propping up that aging hereditary monarchy for years, and without us, they're going to lose a whole lot. And you have President Biden, who really doesn't give a rat's behind about any of that stuff. He cares so much about them. I don't think he's ever even met the Queen before. Hillary Clinton has, but I don't think Biden has ever met her. And I don't think he cares if he does or he doesn't. That's a problem for them. So you got to watch this William. He's a interesting character, and I think that he means to outdo his brother in any way possible. And if it means that somehow he has to shame or embarrass or outwork his father to get him to step down or step aside, I think that's exactly what he's doing. So just remember, you heard it here first, that Wadey Katie is not, people said she was a mean girl, and now it's starting to show. It is starting to show. Secret talks with Gordon Brown? I'm just saying these things because I know you guys are like, well, why are we talking about this? Because I see this as being something that needs to be watched. It just does. Because this is his way of trying to outdo the Sussexes. If Harry would have just disappeared into obscurity, you guys may hear my air conditioner kicked in. I'm sorry about that. But if Harry would have just disappeared into obscurity, William would probably be over at the estate of a friend of the family, where they say he spends a lot of times picking the roses. He may be over there instead of working. You all know he does. That's work-shy Will. He doesn't care about this stuff, but he cares about outdoing his brother. So now he's trying to look busy. And of course, the other thing is, because the Sussexes are not there, he has to work. The thing that happened when Meghan showed up is work, and more work. She embarrassed that family. With her American work ethic. And I for one, I'm proud of that American work ethic. My parents, those Americans are part of what helped build this economy. And if you're an American, you know what I mean. Going to the factory, burning the midnight oil, all of those things are what made this economy strong. I helped to build this economy, and I'm proud of my contribution. So that work ethic in the House of Windsor, it was a big wake-up call for them, because it caused them embarrassment. And so, not to drag this out too long, but let's go over a couple of things. Meeting with Gordon Brown to try to stop this independence movement of Scotland. And of course, the absence of the Duchess of Cornwall, and of course, even more notable is the absence of Prince Charles. I mean, where the heck are they? William has the headlines. Charles doesn't like to be outdone by anybody. You see what I'm saying? I mean, is this like an understanding or a secret pact that they have? Like, oh, go ahead, son. I'm not going to ever take the throne. Or is this William just really sticking it to his dad? I don't know. But I think it has to do with the fact that the Sussexes are super popular. And especially having this kind of popularity in the United States is just a bridge too far for them. So, yeah, that's it for today. Had a lot on my mind about this. I'm just watching the Cambridges and watching all of this activity and stuff. This is not normal, especially if you remember the last time they went up to Scotland, they told them not to come. You know, they said, oh, don't come up here because of the pandemic. And now that the things have lifted, they're all over the place. They're all over the place. This is an economic issue for the people of England. Without Scotland, I mean, the British economy can only take so many hits. They're doing extremely well. I think the pound is still greater in value than the dollar or the euro. But even the pound has its limitations, especially in this, I hope the last days of the global pandemic. So William is playing the long game, and I think his sinister side is showing. He's showing his true colors. I mean, that kind of glaring look that he has all the time, where you think that he is just concerned about picking roses. Now you see that he's actually more concerned about his future, and he doesn't want to be a 70-year-old Prince of Wales. And as for his wife, well, you know, she goes along to get along. She's come a long way from the town of Stepford. I'll say that. And she is from Stepford, England, right? She's a long way from Stepford. And at some point, she may have to... She may have to address a crowd of people and express her concerns about things, but Okay. I'm done. It's been almost 25 minutes, so I got to wrap this up. But let me know what you think. As you can see, I had a lot on my mind, and it's kind of damp. My allergies are bothering me, so I'm over here grunting like a pig. I'm not just laughing, but I'm having an allergies thing. So this is going to be a long one, and I'm having fun, so I hope you are too. But this court rivalry thing is about to get really weird, and because the Cambridges are working so hard, they are bound to fumble. Because even though they seem to be a bit sinister, they're not really that bright. So just be prepared. Be prepared. Okay, please like and share. If you would like to make a donation to this channel, it would be greatly appreciated. There's the PayPal, the Patreon, and the Cash App. Choose any one of those. So far, everything that has been donated to this channel has gone right back into it. And yes, I have had a lot of coffee today. I got some of that Javalia coffee, or whatever they call it. Genevieve, Gavalier, Gavinci coffee, whatever it is. I've had some of that. As a matter of fact, I've had a lot of that. So that will probably help explain why I'm just a bit manic right now. But yeah, so anyway, like, share, subscribe, share. I have over 2,500 subscribers now, and I want to thank all of you who helped to make this channel possible. And for the minority of people out there that have listened to this channel who said, "Oh, Baron, don't worry, just talk, we'll listen." Well, I've been talking for nearly a half hour, and if you haven't gone completely cuckoo from the sound of my voice, there are no prizes for staying as long as you have, but I do appreciate it. And remember, daily uploads. So as this weird, twisted mind starts to wander even further down the rabbit hole, I'll have something else for you tomorrow. But please comment, because I think I've read the bulk of the comments. And even though I have a moderator, I pretty much read all of them. So comment, and let's have this dialogue, because I think that there's something weird going on with those Cambridges. And it kind of reminds me of that movie. Was it called Charles III? When they tried to convince Prince Charles King Charles, that is. Have you guys seen it? I think it was based on a play. This palace intrigue, that's what it reminds me of. Ooh, and I can't wait for the next season of The Crown. I cannot wait for the next season of The Crown. It is going to be juicy. Oh, okay. I've talked too much. I gotta go.